The Crusaders are an order of knights who have sworn their lives to humanity. They choose to put their lives on the line to protect the people of Germany and eventually the world. You see, before the Omnic crisis, Germany was having a bit of an unemployment crisis. The robots that had been developed by Vishtar Technologies became so prevalent throughout the country that it was leaving German civilians unemployed. Why would you hire a human to do the job when you could buy a pre-programmed robot that would outperform the working class and require no breaks and barely any maintenance? So, Germany diverted its efforts to back in the sectors that AI simply wasn't advanced enough to support. One of these areas was deep sea exploration, where engineers had been working on exoskeletal suits and energy shielding for several years. Operating out of parts of the North Sea, Leon Honisch was the leading engineer behind many of these advancements, including the combination of hydraulic and portable fusion technologies that ultimately caught the attention of Major Greta Klein of the German military. Major Klein was looking to further advance Germany's military advancements, but she knew that other countries still held the horrors of World War II in their memories, and if Germany started to produce soldiers or weaponry capable of invading another nation, there would be dire consequences. So instead, she diverted her focuses onto improving Germany's national security. This is where Leon Honisch's advancements in deep sea exploration came in. These exoskeletal suits had been designed to withstand the immense pressures of the deep sea. So, Major Klein recruited Honisch and another scientist known as Amelia Fisher into the Crusader initiative. The program was solely focused on defense. Mr. Honisch would argue that even if Germany had a defensive force, the world would still see it as a terrible spectre. Whereas Fisher and key figures of the Germanic armed forces believed that Germany still had to have the technology to defend itself should they ever come under attack. This would be where the two scientists would find a compromise. They decided to style the Crusader armour after the chivalric ideals of medieval knights, and with this, the Order of the Knights that we know as the Crusaders was truly born. This newly formed group quickly began to think of themselves in the stylized chivalric context that they had been given. They would even assign themselves a strict code of conduct that they would uphold to their last breath, even if it wasn't required by the military. They even created their own oath that every new Crusader would be required to take before they could become true members of the Crusader initiative. Nobody knows exactly who is responsible for forming this oath, as no surviving member of the Crusaders would claim ownership, nor would they divulge which one of their fellow knights authored it. The Crusaders' oath is as follows. The honour we seek is not ours to claim, nor the glory. We raise our weapons not in the service of destruction, but in the hopes of restoration. We are the wall that stands between the dreams of our children and the horrors of war. We will not forget that victory is not ours to claim, nor are its rewards. These are to nourish those who bore us. We are the hammer and the shield of humanity, and so long as we are here to hold the line, the people whom we pledge ourselves to will not falter, will not fall, and will never be forgotten. This would become the foundation of the Crusaders, and over the coming years they would prove their devotion to their oath. When deployed on military missions, these knights had one main objective, keeping their fellow soldiers safe from harm at any cost. However, everything changed when the Warbot nation attacked. When the rogue AI Anubis hijacked the Omnium factories and took control of the robots that mankind had begun to rely on, the nations of the world faced a unique situation. The enemy Warbots would start an invasion from within the nations of the world. You couldn't sit back and plan your next move while they slowly advanced, and instead had to meet the enemy on the streets before they could do further damage to human lives. This is where the Crusaders would become a beacon of hope. Armed with their shields, these knights would become the anchor for Germany's military operation. You see, Germany didn't have many active military forces apart from a handful of soldiers and the Crusaders, so they opened up recruitment for the Crusaders to the public and began to use the armour to fight back. If a civilian, such as yourself, wanted to serve their country and join the Knights, all they had to do was master the use of the equipment and they would be ready for the field. And in response, the people of Germany flocked to the recruitment stations and signed up to join the military. Now, not everyone who wished to serve was capable of mastering the Crusaders' armour and weaponry, and would instead be assigned other roles in the armed forces, but some young upstarts would succeed in mastering the armour and join the Crusaders. One such man was a young Reinhard Wilhelm, who would become one of the finest knights that the Order ever produced. But that's a story for another time. These Crusaders would soon be deployed all across Europe to hold the line and protect not just the people of Germany, but every country being invaded by the Omnics. As the months would pass, the simple appearance of a Crusader on the battlefield would be enough to boost the morale of the troops more than any number of victories. They became a reminder that humanity wasn't fighting a losing battle, and still had a chance of winning the war. They even became outfitted with a special set of weaponry that had been designed before the crisis, but had been abandoned in favour of the more defensive style of the knights. These hammers and axes would prove to be a powerful tool when used against the invading warbots, and the Crusaders would slowly move from a more defensive approach and instead allow its new recruits to charge headfirst into battle. The Crusaders took on such an important role in the Omnic crisis. Every single hero who fought on the front lines had their own story to tell about the heroics of the Crusaders that they met on the battlefield. They became the wall that protected humanity. But, with that being said, we're going to be bringing this video to an end. If you'd like to find out what further impact the Crusaders had, or if you'd like to learn about other Lord of Overwatch, do me a favour, like the video and subscribe. Ugh, that feels so weird to say.